Hello and welcome to a brand new episode on the 3 kinds of distractions you want to avoid in 2025 so that you can achieve what you are setting the intention to achieve. Now, we all know the biggest currency is our attention. And when we speak of attention, did you know that research shows 720 hours are lost annually for employees at the workplace? How weird is that, right? You'd think that if you go to work, you'd be more productive, but apparently research is showing that people actually lose about 720 hours annually, which works out to be nearly 3 hours every day. Now, not only that, neuroscience shows that context switching, like you're doing work and then your phone goes off and you check the phone or, just change your focus to something else, it actually diminishes your productivity by 40%. And this only leads to your brain's production of cortisol, okay? Because if you do this frequently, that's when it ends up becoming a stress response in your brain. And this is pretty much the stress hormone that the brain then, produces in your body. Then it only makes you feel more stressed, okay? And what does that mean? That means you get more mentally fatigued. And what do you want to do about this, right? That's what we're going to talk about in this episode, because I'm very passionate about talking about this, because here at the Holistic Business and Life Mastery community, we are all about increasing our performance. And as you know, if you want to have a successful year, your attention is what you need to master first. And this episode is going to show you a few good techniques and strategies that you can start to adopt in order for you to actually overcome what we want to show you to be very common, very underrated, but they're really just resulting in more leakage of energy. Let's get started. So I firstly want to welcome all those followers that are brand new in our community. Thank you so much for pressing play today. Lovely to have you in this year. And also our existing community members and audience that have been supporting us and are here listening in. Hello and sending you big love. So today I want to share with you exactly what I mean by the 3 kinds of distractions that you want to avoid. And then I want to talk about how they actually create a challenge for everyone, okay? Then you want to also have a step to take to be able to manage that challenge, right? So it's not a one-size-fits-all solution, but it's actually to help you become aware of how much you've already got available in your own capacity, and then hopefully use that to expand your search for the most suitable solution for you to have the best focus this year. So there are 3 major distractions you're going to face: mental, physical, environmental. Okay, so let's get started with number 1, which is mental. What I mean by mental distractions is they're internal noises. There are internal thoughts that pull you away from focused work. And even if you're a practitioner of mindfulness, you meditate, or you have a yoga practice, or you have a lot of awareness, these mental distractions are happening to all of us, and you just need to get better at not letting them hijack your focus. So some of the examples that I hear my clients use, and by the way, when I say clients use, I'm not saying that I'm separate from them. It's just that I've become a lot quicker at, becoming aware that it's happening, and then I just don't let them hijack my time. So overthinking your decisions, your thoughts, or second guessing yourself is a sign. Another could be that you're constantly worrying about things that are not even in your control. It could be about your family, your clients, your future clients, or your future of your business, invoices, things like that. It was happening to me this morning, and then I was able to clear that for myself. What about getting lost in negative self-talk or limiting beliefs, believing that this is it, now it's my time to do it again? Well, these are mental distractions. There's more, but you get the picture now, that these are internal noises that come in the form of worry, overthinking, second guessing, and anxiety, and also negative feelings. So how do I handle this, right? I want to give you a tool. I want to give you a strategy. I have done previous podcasts on this. One was called How Women Should Meditate. Now, why I mentioned how women should meditate is because I'm a woman, but doesn't mean that men can't learn something from it. So if you're a male listening in and you identify as a man, you can definitely listen to it and get a lot of value out of it. But I also did a sequence of other podcast episodes, and one included a 5-minute silent practice. I'll link it here so that you can actually use it. And I'm telling you that even though it's 5 minutes of silence, you will walk away from this feeling like, oh, so that's how really quiet I am, right? That's how quiet my mind really is. So I recommend you have a daily practice and then a quarterly review to renew your practice, and then an annual reset. That's the way I do it. Okay. And why I do it like this is because, see, daily is your micro habits that keep and sustain you. Quarterly is that 90-day, period within which you are having a goal according to where you are right now. And unfortunately, the human being's mind is not like the body, which is like, you don't just get to keep incrementally loaded. It's more of an emptying and then redoing, and emptying and redoing. So it's like a reset all the time. But yes, you do build your bandwidth, right? But if you're running a business, a family, you have a lifestyle and you're living, well, you're going to fill it back up again with all sorts of thoughts and, clutter. So quarterly, you realign and you reassess and review, and then, tweak your practices. So daily, I will rain, hail or shine, I will do a pranayama practice, which essentially is really good for energy development. You should listen to Dr. Desika Cha's episode from last episode 111. Then I also journal. Rain, hail or shine, I have a self-reflection time every day where I will write down my thoughts and experiences and basically empty, what's kind of lingering at the end of the day. Especially because it's not a supplement for having a person in your life. It's more that you get a chance to see what it is that's within. Okay? And not everyone deserves to be vomited upon, right? So choose your journal, write down your thoughts and experiences there. Really just purge it because, you don't want to just dump it on anyone else. Or nor do you want to keep it inside, just roaming and circulating in your own, mental space. And also, besides the pranayama, I do this 5-minute silence practice daily, which I've linked below, so that you can really have just 15 minutes a day to yourself, just emptying, just being okay with silence. And even if you find a lot of noise there, that is a great self-awareness of how loud it is inside you. And then take it from there. A lot of you deal with people. Now, if you reflect on, all those people that have no self-awareness, they're very short on focus. They're very short with their temper, or short with their responses, or they're very reactive. The reason is they're not self-aware. They're not aware of what's happening inside of their mind space. So that's your distraction number one. It's one of the major causes of people completely distracted, especially when the real work comes along. And what I mean by real work is like having to make, informed decisions about what to do next about your business, your career, or your life, or for something that's important that will help you level up. they procrastinate because their bandwidth is just so low. They're just so short-term thinking is a big trait, is that, they're incapable of thinking and planning and resetting because they just don't give themselves this space between what happened in the day to what happens the next day. Yeah. Let me know in the comments what's coming up for you as you're hearing this. Do you find yourself going through certain periods like that? I'm going to say it happens to all of us. It's just depending on your own self-awareness. Some of us don't actually have that self-awareness to recognize that this is what's happening. And it's just your mind gets hijacked by all sorts of things that haven't been cleared up. And so worries, overthinking, and negative self-talk just becomes normal and feels very logical. It feels very natural and correct to do because that's just what that sort of mind experiences. But it can definitely be improved. It can definitely be decluttered. And I've given you those 3 strategies: pranayama, journaling, and 5 minutes of silence daily, to be able to increase self-awareness and give yourself that pause between the day that has been and the day that is coming ahead of you. Cool. So next one is the physical distractions. Look, physically, what I mean is physically your body. If you listen to Dr. Sean Matthews' episode that I've recorded, it's around the episode 108, 109, and 110 or something like that, okay? But just look up Dr. Sean Matthews and we talked about unpacking burnout. Physical distractions is when I say a distraction from the body, what I mean is it's the habits that we don't have which creates discomforts that is unconsciously just interrupting your focus and energy levels. It's like your energy gets leaked through the unmanaged physical discomforts and pains. Poor posture from having a workplace or an office chair that is not very good for you is a definite surefire situation that a lot of you face. Investing in a good office chair is definitely something you're worthy of. Do invest in one that will help you to, at least maintain good supported posture throughout the day as you spend time at your desk. Yeah, sure. Get a standing desk if you want to. That's also a great idea. Now, as I said, I'm not going to cover everything, but these are just points to give you some ideas to get thinking about these things. Sleep deprivation. If you're not sleeping properly or have inconsistent sleep patterns and waking up patterns, this is also creating an energy deficit in you. Your energy levels will vary. Sometimes, not sometimes, but a lot of people that don't have a good digestive system, that also plays a huge role in, your sleep, in your day-to-day energy levels. Your health. When we talk about health, we all think about body weight. We all think about our fitness. We all think about what do we eat, isn't it? So diet, sleep, and lifestyle. Those are the 3 that are like the pillars of health. The 3 pillars of health is what you eat, how you sleep, and do you move your body. Those are the 3 things that actually produce a good physical condition for you to do whatever it is that you want to do. Whether you sit on a chair all day or not, for work or not, it will still support you in having that focus. So, if you currently suffer in all those realms, and it is going to cause disruptions in your circulation, and then as a result, it's going to affect your immune system. As a result, it's going to affect, or not as a result, but also as a consequence and connected to your nervous system. And once again, we come to the same result, which is attention leaking. Body is operating through the nervous system, meaning the brain is constantly in touch with what's happening in the body, what sort of functions and systems are working or overworking. Okay, so the body is using the energy to do that work when you could be using that energy toward what it is that you want to be using it to. And I'm not saying you're looking to have the perfect body. In fact, there's this new Netflix series that I've just seen. I haven't watched it yet, but it's called Don't Die or something like that. And this whole series is about this man experimenting how to live the longest. And he takes like 35 pills in the morning. The rest, you can watch it. But, there's this documentary this guy has created. What we're saying is that, to live a balanced lifestyle, your physical distractions need to be managed. Physical meaning your body, your health. Yeah, so, whatever your age is, whatever your conditions are, you must look toward creating a balanced physical condition that will support you to be the best version of yourself. And I don't mean six packs and slimmer body and all that. It's just everyone's unique. The Ayurvedic perspective is that there's a right thing just for you. So how I handle these physical distractions for me is every quarter I realign my diet and lifestyle, because every quarter there's a season change. Okay, I didn't even go into what causes these physical imbalances. Okay, it's natural for you to feel a shift come on at every season, right? Every time the season is changing, there's about a 7 to 10 day period before a new season starts where you'll sense the temperature is changing, the wind blows differently, and you're transitioning into a new season. And this is when the Ayurvedic science has already told us that this is the time of greatest danger, which is, if we don't become self-aware and of our needs, then we are taking last quarter's things over to the other without really releasing to enter a new quarter, a season. And then that becomes toxins inside the gut, digestive system, which slows down your metabolism, and then on and on it goes. So how I do it is I realign my diet and lifestyle every quarter. And, it's not such a big task either. It's just little tweaks. The whole formula is in my Ayurvedic health journal. So if you're interested in looking at how practical and pragmatic this is, accessible it is, it's all in my Ayurvedic health journal with a modern grocery list and some really simple digestive remedies, and that anyone can take. If you have children, if you have elderly in your household, you can also give them those remedies so that they too can go on this journey with you. But really, it's about having your body support you and your vision. And so what this, protocol does for me is to help me stay balanced, at least in my digestion. As soon as the digestion is on the team, everything is harmonized, because your food is your source of energy, and either it's energizing you or it's actually depleting you, isn't it? And then you're either feeling energized or you're feeling and productive, or you're not. And so the physical distractions have to be managed, and the better your lifestyle is, the better you are signaling to yourself, the inner self, that you've got this, you can take care of your basic needs. So that increases your self-worth. Back in the day when I was just starting out on this entrepreneurial journey, I would often miss lunch, often miss dinner, or, often miss meals, because in my mind, I was conditioned to think that, I've got to work hard and I can't rest until my work is done. It had really bad consequences later on, because, I developed anemia and everything like that. And call it just, I think you learn from your own mistakes. And that's why I got really, really passionate about teaching this to all my clients, that this is part of your basic needs. And as an adult trying to adult, you cannot be overlooking your physical needs. Okay, your posture, your sleep, meaning rest, and your movements. And then you look at your diet, where you get your physical energy from as well. And those are the four things that you need to be mindful of, because these are the fundamentals of you feeling optimum or optimal to do the work you're here to do. Live your dharma, live your purpose. Okay? Now, we're not perfect. We're not looking for perfection. We're looking for progress. So when you're progressing, you'll find that, you know what? You start valuing your own physical needs. And to do that, it takes discipline, it takes maturity. And yes, and it does mean that if you can do that for yourself, you can also do that for others. Okay, whatever you're doing, you're modeling it to your environment, which moves me to the next point, which is distractions from the environment. Environmental distractions are talking about what's happening in your surroundings. Okay, what's happening in your surroundings that pull you away from your priorities. Okay, so think about your phone or your laptop or both. The notifications, sounds that are always buzzing away. Even if you have it on silent, if you have the buzzer going, right? If you have the vibrations going, well, that's still notifying you, isn't it? What about noises and interruptions in the space that you spend your time in to get your most important work done? I consider the kitchen where I cook is also a very sacred space where I need to give all my love and focus to being there. So in the ancient systems, you know, we talk about focus, meaning when you sit down to, you know, do work, do that. When when you're in your bathroom, even spend all your attention being in the bathroom. Don't take your phone inside there with you. When you're in the kitchen cooking, you know, do it like a prayer, because that's the food you're going to take into your body and, you know, have energy from. So when you are doing a curriculum or a plan or a consultation with your client or for your client, do it with all your attention and focus. Not only are you going to get it done faster, but you're also going to put all your best energy, focus, and intentions in there, disrupted. And that's what we call high value work. When you're exercising or, you know, you're doing your yoga or meditation or dance or something that you love doing for yourself and your body and mind, don't wear your Apple Watch. Don't wear anything vibrating, or don't have anything that will give you any notifications. When I had my yoga studios, well, I never had any mirrors around us, because the whole focus needs to be inwards so that you can then have the best output. So, you know, noise and interruptions in the spaces that you are in are a big reason why your mind goes from here to there. You know, we have 5 senses, right? One is the eyes. We see, we hear, we smell, we feel from touch, okay, and we taste. So it is ancient wisdom that we need for best productivity. We actually need to have focus on exactly what sense we are using at the moment. When I practice being an Ayurveda practitioner, so when I am assessing someone in a consultation, I am not just seeing them with my eyes, I'm using all my 5 and my 6th sense. Okay? And this is something you develop through practicing, and think of it as a practice. When you manage your environmental distractions, take it as a practice, a daily practice to save your attention from being hijacked. Some of the other environmental distractions can be that you've got a calendar that's so busy that, you know, you're sort of like going from here to there without any, breaks or any sort of, pauses. Overcommitment is another telltale sign that, this brain needs a little bit of a pause, because that in itself is like you're going from one environment to the next, even if it is on Zoom, even if you've got back-to-back consults or coaching sessions or anything or meetings, you still need that pause because your brain needs that pause. So here's how I handle environmental distractions. Every day I've got time blocks done in my calendar. I use the Google Calendar this year. Before I was using there's a Todoist app. I'm not using that this year. I'm using the Google Calendar, and I just time block that and then that calendar day, and that's what I'm doing for a piece of work or a piece of thing that I want to do. I mean, I say piece, but segment. I've also got autoresponders. Like if somebody contacts me, I'm not responding to them straight away. No one gets a straight response from me, in my time blocked times. Nothing is urgent in my life. That's my mindset. Why should there be any urgencies? And there's a lot of misunderstandings about, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if I miss out? See, our promise at the Holistic Business and Life Mastery Show is we are going to help you align yourself and your business to calm and profit. And you cannot be putting out fires all day and think that is calm. Setting up automated responses, blocking out the calendar, do deep and focused work, plan the week ahead so that, you don't switch context from this thing to the next thing to the next thing. Like, back when I was starting to write my books, what I was experiencing is that, okay, I wanted to achieve writing a certain amount of time, and then I wanted to produce some content for courses that I'm creating, and then I want to also write something or do something about a blog or something like that. So I was creating things in different contexts, and by about, say, 12 p.m., my brain would just feel fried. Like if I started at 7 a.m., by 5 hours, I was just fried. It was unrealistic for the brain to be performing like that. Also, there are other principles at play. We have got a very conducive windows during the day's hours where deep work is really good, whereas there are times in the day where socializing, networking, having conversations is better. And the Ayurvedic clock is what I'm referring to. If you get the Ayurvedic Health Journal, it's there. Okay, so I also guide my clients to, if I notice that they need it, and I usually make a recommendation for them to look at what hours in the day they have best energy for that activity. So planning your day like that also helps. So environmentally, meaning the time of day is not messing with your energy levels or focus levels. So finally, I'm a Virgo cusp Libra. I'm all about cleanliness, organization, as well as fairness. Can be quite intense sometimes, but you know what? Setting your standards for your office, which is where you do your best work, you must have a standard of cleanliness and organization. It's not going to work in your favor to be disorganized. Even if you don't have an office, your laptop and your files and folders are your office space, right? You need to know where your files are kept. You need to know where your client files are. You need to have an order to things. If you don't know how to do that, look up a YouTube video on the most effective way to organize your workspace, because that will save you time, stress, as well as avoid the distractions that come from these environmental challenges. Okay, so these are all daily things you want to maintain an eye on the mental, physical, emotional, and environmental distractions. Now, what I want to also bring up is quarterly resets. Okay, what is your quarterly reset ritual? Do you have one? So I'm just going to quickly give you the list of things that you need to consider for you to keep maintaining this practice, but not just doing it like a robot, but acknowledging the changes that have happened since the last quarter to then take on with you the right practices, the right mindset, the right, focuses for the next quarter. So every quarter, I like to evaluate how I, should focus my mind and myself, my energy. And I use the Ayurvedic framework and I use the high performance framework that I share in my programs. And I think if you've been listening to many of my episodes, you'll get a gist for how I speak of these kinds of rituals. So quarterly, 90 days is a great time frame. Speaking from macro to micro, it's like seasons is a quarter, a season is a quarter. Then you've got the calendar, right? Then you've got your 90-day goals. And then you've got your weekly 12-week action plan. Okay. So firstly, about your physical, you want to every quarter just check in with yourself and look at your health and energy levels according to where you currently are. And you also want to look at where you want to be in this coming quarter. So according to that, what sort of changes do you need to make and stick to? That's going to become your quarterly reset ritual. The next one with your business is do the same thing with your business and life goals. If you've been in business for a while, you know that just because you had $100,000 goal for the whole year, that you don't just earn your income at $25,000 per quarter. It just doesn't happen that way. Some quarters is less or more, and some quarters is, nothing. Okay. But you will reach your goals anyway. It may not go every quarter to quarter. So it's all about looking at where you currently are, where you're going, and make a decision based on where you are wanting to go instead of where you currently are. But where you currently are informs you of what it is that you need to create a shift and tweak to be where you want to be. Revisit your intentions. I mean, your intention, for your body, your mind, that's a daily practice of tracking it. And in the Ayurvedic Health Journal, there's a journal there prompting you to always stay in touch with that. But what about your business, your intention? Where does that come from? It's coming from your Calm and Profit blueprint. Your intentions are simultaneous or similar and very aligned to your values, okay, and your standards and your vision. Your intentions are not just for your business, but yourself. Think about if you want to build a 6-figure business and you're putting out little fires every day, which is not a good way to build focus or be focused, do you think that's really going to get you to the result that you want to get to? It's not. You don't even have to answer that. It's basic no. It matters because you need to get out of stress response and you need to come into self-regulated, high value, and self-aware leadership. So this year, you want to set an overarching intention that with regular resets, you will manage your mental, physical, and environmental distractions that steal your focus, energy, and creativity. Because you want to be focused, energetic, and creative. So before I end this episode, I'll play a quick recording. Goes for about 7 minutes. It's a conversation between my client and I. She was asking really good questions about my end of year reset. So the end of year reset that I do is a combination of silent retreat, yoga, and Ayurveda. So I call it a silent Ayurvedic yoga retreat. And in the past, when COVID was around, I would definitely not go anywhere. But since last year, I've been taking myself away to an Airbnb and spending some time in there just by myself, changing my environment, doing the things that help me reconnect to myself. And what I want you to listen in for is how intelligent my clients' questions were. And, I get to share with you how I do it. And it's doable by anyone. It's just it's just the mindset and then just doing it, because it really helps, especially women. So you want to give yourself a reset to be able to be a powerful leader in your business and life. And every link will be posted down below. And I hope you enjoy this little snippet of our conversation with our client. And I'll see you at the next episode.
Good.
Happy
How
New
are
Year.
you? Yeah, Happy New Year. Did you go away?
I did do that retreat I talked to you about.
Yeah. Where did
Yeah,
you go? The retreat.
I just hired an Airbnb by the sea in the north of Sydney, and
Yeah.
I stayed in there by myself and did the retreat. It was a silent retreat, so didn't really want to engage with anyone.
For how long? For a week? Is it?
5 days. I was meant to do it for 7 days, but I did it
Yeah.
for 5 days. Yeah,
And you were the whole time by yourself. Like it's
yeah.
not a group silent
No,
thing,
no.
whatever. Oh, okay. And
Yeah.
what did you do? I mean,
Um,
except silent.
yeah. So I basically did all my shopping before staying there, and then I ate like I did my so I get up in the morning with the sun and go to bed with the sun going down, so I don't switch on the lights at the end of the day. And like no TV, no phones, no internet, no music, no sugar, no caffeine, no milk, no like all sorts of things that create, blockages. And
Okay.
then took some herbs to cleanse my systems that are aligned to me. And then in the morning and evening, I did two practices, like yoga practices, and 90 minutes each. And
Oh,
then two meditation practices, sitting meditation practices per day. Yeah, and that's it. And just resetting my system.
like throughout the day, I mean, during the day, are
Yeah.
you doing some, set up the goals for 2025 or
No, that I did before that. That I
oh,
had already done all that before. Yeah, it wasn't
I
work.
see.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So throughout the day, during the day, what do you do?
Oh, well, the time just passes. After I did my morning practice, I either cooked my next meal, or I sat and journaled or read a book. I took a couple of books, so there's a couple of books that I read through, and
Yeah.
then that's it. And then next thing you know, it's already 4 o'clock.
And
Yeah,
I just curious. Okay. So you were saying when the sun, down,
yeah.
you're not going to turn on the light. So are you saying, for example, now because the day is long, so maybe after 9, you just go to sleep straight away. Is that right?
Yeah, I just laid in bed and then just let myself fall asleep. Yeah. It
I
wasn't
see. Oh,
easy. Yeah. Yeah,
I
it's not
see.
easy.
Hmm. Is it first time you did this?
No. So I combined, yoga, Ayurveda, and Vipassana together. Because do you know what Vipassana meditation is?
No.
Okay, that is a silent Buddhist meditation technique
Yep. Mm-hmm.
um, that you can do for 10 days in silent
Mm-hmm.
retreat. You actually go to their place and do it for 10
Yeah.
days. So
Yeah.
yeah, so since doing that every year, I kind of do it to renew my practice, not 10 days with them, because you can't do 10 days again with them, but
Mm.
you can do it by yourself, or you can go to their groups. So I combined that with the yoga practices to like release all the stuff from my body, because the stress that our shoulders, hips, and back carries through the sitting down or just our bad posture every day. It's just, yeah, it was really relieving of that. And
Yeah.
yeah, so and after that, and then the Ayurveda is all about the herbs and the diet and the mindset and just yeah, just being in alignment with the like lining up the circadian rhythm with the sun, because the sun is like
Mm.
the medicine giver, so when the sun
Yeah.
rises, you
Mm-hmm.
know, it's better to get up then than later on. Or when the sun sets, it's better to go to bed then. But we can't do that with our lifestyles, like it's usually not easy to go to bed at 9 o'clock. But
Yeah. True.
um, yeah, and for the first three evening like nights, I felt like I got up at least 3 or 4 times during the night. Like, yeah,
I see. And when you say no phones, no
yeah.
internet, you like what if your family want to call you?
Well, I told them, like, I informed them that I'm not going to be available from this day to that day, and I just switched the phone off.
What if your clients wants to find you?
Oh, it's all automated, right? So I've let my clients know from ahead of time. I let my
Yeah.
family know ahead of time.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically you inform the people. I informed everybody. And
Yeah.
everybody else left in messages and all that. So I just could get back to them when I got back. Just like
I
you do when
see.
you go overseas. Yeah.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I think it's yeah, I this year I try to do something like that, but not silent. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe 2 or 3 days away, but only for myself, only to do something I like to do. Not maybe some meditation practice, but yeah,
Yeah.
different.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think, this sort of a retreat, it's easier to do when you are guided by somebody. And
Yeah.
so, then you are disciplined to do it because it's hard. It's difficult to sit still with nothing to do. And
Mm,
that's the whole practice, because then your body and mind can release all the tension and the garbage that it's collected. But that's not to say there aren't other ways to do it, like you did what you felt right for you, you know what I mean? To have a break from routine. Yeah.
yeah.
And
That's
yeah, like when I told people that didn't know I do this, it's not common for people to do this, unless they've got experience. So they're like, "Oh, I never could do that. I could never do that." So yeah, okay. But like, it's good to see how you ask me questions about how do you deal with people, what do you say? Like people don't even think about coming up with solutions. They just go, "Oh, it's not for me. I could never do that." But tell them that, okay, you can go to Vanuatu and go to a retreat, you know,
right. I
and
know.
they'll make
I
it
love
happen.
it. I love the idea, and I love how you did it. So the other question is, what's the like for this year, for this time, what do you get out from it? Like, what it
Yeah, great
helps you
question.
most?
Very good question. So on the last day, I wrote down like 20 things I learned about myself.
Mm,
So I just
mm-hmm,
let myself reflect on what did I learn about myself through this practice of this year. And
mm,
yeah, and so, I just liked but the main key thing was that I like spending time with myself, which was very difficult for me to do before, like a long time ago. I used to suffer from a lot of anxiety and, all sorts of mental, like up and down. And
yeah.
yeah, it's stable. Like my mind is very stable, and I kind of like learned that my body is really fit. My body just needs what it needs. Like I learned what my body needs. Like
Mm-hmm,
the 2 days after doing the hip opening and the back stretching and all that, I honestly my hips were so tight, like my nerves started hurting. So I gave myself some vitamins and magnesium and herbs to loosen up and to release all the tension. Then I started realizing the pattern of my body and how frequently it needs all those vitamins and minerals and the herbs, because
mm,
otherwise I'm just like a robot. I take them without really connecting to my body's needs because that affects the liver. Because if you just
That's right.
keep taking, your liver is working for no reason, and then you age. Your aging starts faster. So, and your energy gets depleted. You might know this already, right?
Yeah.
So, especially in your 40s, in our 40s, I'm also perimenopausal, so the perimenopause also comes with its own set of symptoms. So I really learned a lot about my body's frequencies, and then you know what, magically, like again, we know this logically, but to really connect to the body, I just love my body and how smart, intelligent, and flexible it is. Like I give it time, I give it rest, I give it food,
Yeah.
and it's
Mm-hmm.
performing. you know?
That's good. Yes.
Yeah. So
That should
that's what
be
I learned, and I think that really helps a woman to function really well.
mm, yeah, definitely.
Mm.
Oh,
Oh,
beautiful.
finally, also, like, when you quieten down, like when you really
Yeah.
count, quieten things down, when you
Mm,
disconnect and you just be by yourself, you start
mm,
noticing
mm,
what are your thoughts and what are other people's thoughts.
mm. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, people think that's psychic abilities, but it's actually like we are all psychic. But we don't realize it that other people's thoughts, people might be thinking about influencing us, and we automatically start thinking like that if
Yeah.
we're not aware of what our actual thoughts are. Who is me and who is someone else. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's so true. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
and I definitely will do some retreat this year by myself,
Yeah.
maybe with my sister.
Absolutely. I feel like you could plan that in, put that in your calendar. It's got to be put into your calendar. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. Have you been thinking, when is it going to be the right time to do your business and marketing activities? Like you spend so much time serving clients, engaging with others, and trying to help everybody else. Well, this is the exact reason we created the 90-day new client bootcamp, and this is designed for the procrastinators that are also excellent service providers like you. If you are interested in joining it, we are opening the doors on the 15th of January. I'd love to welcome you. Please check it out. We are preparing it in the background. Please check out the link below and get started from there.